Mark, we got to talk football. It's a busy time for the football world, even for semi-retired guys like yourself. I know they're keeping you busy with some projects this week. We keep hearing this is a pretty deep draft in terms of a few different positions. Is it particularly the case for both edge rushers and wide receivers?
Wide receiver isn't as deep as people make it out to be. It's not. There's been deeper wide receiver drafts. I think there's 5 legit wide receivers. When I say legit, guys that I would not be afraid to, and yeah, there they are. Olave, Wilson, Williams, Lunt. Oh no, see, I don't. I don't like Penn State yet.
Yeah, I know that.
Well, get that little kid from Penn State out of there. He don't belong with them. You're missing the kid from Arkansas, Burks.
This is the sporting news. This is not my ranking. This is sporting news, so don't blame me.
Get Dotson out and put in Burks, and they're the 5.
Okay.
Now Dotson. Now I'm gonna. All right. The next group, the Dotson, the kid Pickens from Georgia, Guy Moore from I think it's Central Michigan, one of those Michigan schools. A kid I really like, Alec Pierce from Cincinnati. They're all like I think second round kind of guys. Mm-hmm. Some might sneak into the bottom of the first because some teams go for need over best player and stuff like that. But it's an okay wide. There have been better wide receiver drafts than this year. As far as edge rushers. Yeah, there's some really good ones, but they're going to fly. I had a guy tell me earlier today, those first 4 guys, they could literally be the first 4 picks of the draft.
Do we have it right there? Hutchinson, Thibodeau, Walker, Johnson.
That's what I would do, but I think Walker's going to go 2. I think Johnson. I actually in my ratings, it was Hutchinson, Thibodeau, Johnson, Walker.
Okay,
but Walker for some reason I don't know what happened. Walker. When the season ended, when they stopped playing college football, when he walked off with the national title at the University of Georgia, he was considered the 10th pick, 12th pick around there, maybe maybe even a little in that range. I guess whatever he did at his pro days combine, he all of a sudden now he may go 1. I don't think. I still think Hutchinson's going to go 1, but people talk about him going 1 or 2.
Yep.
What did he do? I don't get it.
That's exactly what I was going to say to you, Mark, with my first question is following a whole bunch of these mock drafts, a lot of them have Walker as the number 1 pick, which really surprised me, and Hutchinson number 2. Hutchinson going to Detroit. He's a Michigan guy. I don't know if that's good or bad, but goodness gracious. And then it looks like Iguana, however you pronounce his name, and Gardner, and then Thibodeau from some that I've seen. It's really surprised me.
That's what people say. I mean, first of all, I don't look at mock drafts because nobody knows. Everybody's guessing. I mean, it's all guesswork. It's fun to look at, I guess. I don't think. See, Houston at the 3rd pick. Houston needs everything, right? They're a bad team, but the one thing that they're not that bad at, their offensive line isn't that bad compared to the rest of their team. So I don't know if they would take. There's some good tackles in this draft. To me, that's the deepest position in the draft is offensive line. There's a lot of. I had one scout tell me this is the first year he can remember where, if you need an offensive lineman, you could get a good one in the 2nd round, a very good one. So keep that for what it's worth. Houston hired Lovie Smith as their head coach. He's a defensive guy. He's going to want a defensive player. Now I love Sauce Gardner. I really do, and we'll talk about him because I think the Eagles love him just as much as I do, maybe more. But I just think that I don't know. I gave Thibodeau to Houston at number 3, thinking that Lovey's going to want a big time pass rusher coming in. Everybody wants pass rushers, right? I mean that's how you win now.
Hey, by the way, your former colleague Elliot Shore Parks says his ideal 1st round picks for the Eagles, if possible, they may have to move up a little bit to get the 1, would be wide receiver Jamison Williams and defensive tackle Jordan Davis. Your thoughts?
He's half right. I like Williams a lot, and I think the Eagles could get him. Okay. Davis, I know he's a freak and all that, but I don't know about him. I really don't. He's a great run stuffer. If that's what you're looking for, if that's what you want, take him. But I don't know if I want to spend a high pick on a guy that's not going to be out there on 3rd down. I mean, I just got done saying that, the most important thing to me is rushing on defense is getting to the quarterback. Because let's face it, this is a passing league now. It's not a running league anymore. That's why running backs don't go in the 1st round. So I don't know. I mean, I think Davis is I don't know. I don't. Why doesn't it? Am I the only person that thinks the Eagles really need a cornerback?
Oh, no, they do.
They do.
They do.
I know everyone's penciling in a defensive lineman there because that's what they like to do. But a month ago, or maybe more than that now, when the season ended, I thought, yeah, they'll probably go defensive line because I thought they might let Fletcher Cox go, but they let him go for a day and brought him back for $14 million. I thought they wouldn't sign Derek Barnett, but they did. I thought maybe Brandon Graham might retire after the injury. Maybe he doesn't want to come back, but no, he's back. I mean, they're not. I know their defensive line didn't play great last year. Obviously, they didn't get a lot of sacks like people had hoped they would. But they still have a lot of bodies, don't they, on the defensive line? I mean, I'm not there anymore. I watch it from afar. Mm-hmm. At corner, they have Slay, Maddox as your slot guy, and a bunch of like 6th-round draft picks.
Yeah, they could use help for sure.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm going to tell you right now. I think if Sauce Gardner gets past the first 5, the Eagles will trade with the Carolina Panthers and select Sauce Gardner at number 6.
Ah,
you think that's really a possibility? I'm showing him at number 4 with the Jets.
I think so too. But if the Jets, that's where I have Sauce going 4 because I think he's a great player. But if the Jets decide they want to go a different route and he slips, the Giants could take him at 5 too, for that matter. But if he gets to 6, I think the Eagles and Panthers have a deal already set up, and it would probably be. Now, keep in mind, Carolina is going to move out of 6. If they don't move out with the Eagles, they're going to move out with either New Orleans or Washington or somebody, because they don't want to. They pick 6, then they don't pick again until Saturday.
Wow.
They have no 2nd or 3rd round pick, and then I think they have like a 4, maybe a whatever. So they want more picks. They also want a quarterback. They don't have to take a quarterback at 6. They could move down to 15 and still get a quarterback they want and get a 2nd round. I think it would cost the Eagles a 1, a 2, and maybe a 4.
Well, I wanted to ask you about the quarterbacks since you mentioned it. There look like the 3 of them are all over the board. Pickett, Malik Willis, and who's the other one? Matt Corral. And Desmond Ryder actually is the one that I keep seeing. But it looks like Pittsburgh is almost certainly taking a quarterback. But I've seen Pickett all the way up at 6 with Carolina and all the way back at 32 with the Lions. What's up with the quarterback? Is there no clear-cut guy?
Yeah, because in any other year, these guys would all be 2nd and 3rd round picks. There really isn't a 1st-round pick at quarterback, but because they're quarterbacks, teams get desperate and they will take this. This is like that draft. God, I'm going way back. It was Cam Newton. Cam Newton went 1 and he deserved it, but then you had the guys like Christian Ponder and Lockett and Blaine Gabbert and Brandon Whedon, all going in, and they did not deserve to go in the 1st round, and they did, and you saw what the results were. Or go back to 2013 when E.J. Manuel went in the 1st round. And, you saw what came of that. This is not a good quarterback draft. None of these guys I don't think are franchise type quarterbacks that are going to. If you need a quarterback and you take one of these guys, you still need a quarterback. These guys aren't the answer. I don't think. And people I've talked to, it actually put it in my head. But I do think Pickett and Willis will go 1st round, and I think Carolina and Atlanta. I think Carolina, like I said, will move out of 6. Move down a little bit and probably take Willis, and it will also save jobs. I mean, if Matt Rule's job's on the line, which it is, believe me, people down here in the Carolinas don't like him very much anymore. So he's on the hot seat now. What the best way to save your job is to take a young project at quarterback, and that buys you a couple years, right? Because we took the young guy, we're still developing it. So I think that's the case there. Atlanta, I think, likes Pickett. They're at 8, but again, I think they can move out. So the Eagles want to move up. There will be some teams. I just got to tell somebody that I don't think 1 to 5. I don't think anything happens. I think they start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those 5 teams will keep their picks and take the guy that they like. I think every pick from 6 to 10 could be traded.
So if the Eagles stay at number 15 and 18, what do you think they do?
15, I think they take the best receiver on the board, which I think will be, it could be Williams. from Alabama. I think I like him a lot. I know I like Olave, but he's not the best. And they wouldn't take Olave because he's too much like Smith. I think that same size. They need somebody a little. Williams is really good. I mean, Howie found out last year that after ignoring Alabama for forever, found out, hey, this Alabama school, they got some pretty good players come out of there. So he might go back to that same route again.
And what about the other pick? Number 18.
See, I think they could trade back there. I think they could, especially if they do move. See, here's what I think the Eagles' plan is. Now, plans don't always come to fruition because it takes two teams, right? I think in Howie's perfect world, he moves up from 15 to 6 or whatever and gets Gardner. Then he moves back. Oh, no, I take that back. If they get Gardner, then I think they take the best wide receiver at 18. And that might be Olave at that point if Wilson and Williams are both gone.
Okay.
Now, if he stays at 15 and gets his wide receiver, he could move back at 18. Because I think a guy that they like is the cornerback from Florida. If they can't get Gardner, who's by far the best cornerback, the kid from Florida, Elam, who he kind of fits. He's a big, tall. He's a good player. He's very good. I have him third. Gardner first, Stingley second, and I think both of them will be gone. But I like Elon better than McDuffie, who a lot of people. McDuffie's not bad either, but
okay.
And Howie's a Florida guy, right? Florida grad. He likes those. He likes his Gators. So
yeah, it's funny you mentioned McDuffie. He was my question for you, Trent McDuffie. I see him in above the Eagles in a lot of cases in that top 14, 13, 12. You see him being that kind of guy?
I have him a little bit lower. Like I said, you're right. Most people have McDuffie ahead of Elam. They have McDuffie in that Eagle range and Elam going in the 20s. I think Elam fits the Eagles better. I think they have Maddox, right? Who they like a little bit in the slot. Elam's just a bigger, stronger kind of guy. They like those big corners. Well, they need a big corner too. I mean, these receivers are getting bigger and bigger now too. So you need a big guy. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to say what they're going to. I mean, how he wants to wheel and deal. He loves this guy.
Oh yeah.
Right? I mean, he already has, right? He traded. They came in with 3 picks, and and now they have 2 next year. So he's
I like
going
that.
to do some things. So
well, Mark, I have one more draft question for you. Any mid-round sleeper picks or 2 that you like, not necessarily for the Eagles, but just some name that you think is going to be there, maybe in the 3rd or 4th round, who's going to be a NFL player, a pretty good one.
Okay, I'll give you a couple. Yep. I mentioned the wide receivers. I don't know. Alec Pierce from Cincinnati, I really like, but I think he is creeping up now where he may go 2nd round. Originally, people thought 3rd, 4th, but I like him a lot. He's tall. He can really run. He's kind of raw. Like he's not going to be his first year. You're going to just have him go deep, but that's not a bad thing to do, right? He's a home run hitter. I think eventually he'll learn the route tree more. He'll be able to do more things for you. I think he's a real good player. Another wide receiver, Jalen Tolbert from South Alabama. Not as fast as Pierce, but average speed, but big, strong, tough guy. Kind of guy that'll go over the middle, make the tough catches in traffic for you. Played at a smaller school, South Alabama, so that kind of holds him back a bit. But then he stayed home for the Senior Bowl because the Senior Bowl is in Mobile, and really put on a great show there at the Senior Bowl week. So people like him. He's kind of guy that can help a team. And then I'll give you a guy from Houston. A cornerback, Marcus Jones. Now, I say cornerback, that's what he plays, but he's also the best return guy in the country. Kick returns and punt returns. I think he set a college record last year where he scored touchdowns 4 different ways. He had a kick return for a touchdown, a punt return for a touchdown, an interception return for a touchdown, and they actually used him on offense, and he caught a touchdown pass.
Wow.
Well, he's a playmaker. A little undersized. I think he's like 5'9" maybe. But remember a guy the Eagles took years ago, Chet, Allen Rossum?
Yeah.
Notre Dame. Think of him, but bigger, but a little stronger, same height, but stronger and better.
All right. Hey, Mark, before we run out of time, Chet's changing things up on you tonight. He wants to, instead of going fast 5, he wants to go 3 and out with Mark Eckel. You good?
Yeah, we could do that.
All right, Mark, quickly. I know we asked you this the first or second time you visited, but since it is draft night eve, I'm going to ask you again. Who were the very worst first-round draft picks made by the Eagles during your 30-plus years covering the team?
Oh, the worst of all time, Kevin Allen.
Yep.
1985. Yeah, Kevin Allen's the worst.
Honorable mention, Danny Watkins, Leonard Renfro, and Marcus Smith.
Okay. But nobody tops Kevin Allen because none of those guys went to jail.
Yeah. Right. Number 2, a recent ESPN story about NFL GMs essentially ranked Howie Roseman as the league's 6th best general manager over the past decade. Approximately, where would you rank him?
Oh, geez. Probably not 6, but higher than a lot of Eagle fans. I mean, Howie's made his mistakes. And they're well documented.
Sure.
But the guy, he is aggressive. I hate to say, I'm going to say something nice. Get this, keep this on tape. All right, keep this somewhere in the vault. I'm going to say something nice about Howie. He's not afraid. A lot of general managers go by the book, and I liked his quote from his press conference a couple weeks ago when he said, "If you do what everybody else does, you wind up a middle of the pack team. Like you have to be ahead of the curve with certain things, and he generally is. Now sometimes it's a curve and he swings and misses, but that happens. I'd rather have a guy swing and miss than take a called third strike, right? I mean, Howie's not going to take a third strike. He's going to swing. So
and number 3,
I'm going to put him 10th to answer your question.
10th is good. I like that.
10th to 12th around there, maybe.
Mark, it's a different sport, but will the 76ers be the first NBA team in history to blow a 3-0 playoff series lead and get eliminated?
No, they'll win one of these lists. They might take it to 7. I just don't think Toronto's that. You know what? I don't follow the NBA like I used to, but
yeah,
Toronto's not that good, are they?
They should not be this far in the series. I'll tell you that. Hey, Mark, I know you are getting put to work over these next few days. You're getting to work on a lot of draft stuff. What do you have going on?
Yeah, actually, well, you can see my mock draft from 1 to 32. It'll go up tomorrow online at PackerReport.com. And then my old boss brought me back to NJ.com tomorrow night. I'll be doing live as the picks made. I'll be making like live comments on, great pick, bad pick, whatever,
And is that on NJ.com?
NJ.com, yes. It'll be live on NJ.com. So
Very nice.
night. I'll be up late tomorrow night.
All right. Well, Mark, as always, we appreciate you coming by, and it's become an annual pre-draft time. Yeah. So let's do it for another 8 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, you keep. I guess you guys are still going strong. I mean, Chet's getting up there in age now, Bill, but that's okay.
I know.
But Mark, the beer keeps me young.
Well, if the beer keeps you young, you're like 12 years old now.
Exactly. Thanks, Mark.
Right,
Mark, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Anytime.